Hello and welcome to today's reflection as we continue our series on the Gospel of Mark. And all of these are loosely based on this book by Timothy Keller, King's Cross, which I really highly recommend to you. And we're looking today at Mark 1, verses 16 to 20. As Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. "Come follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. When he had gone a little farther, he saw James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John in a boat, preparing their nets. Without delay, he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed him. Last time we were thinking about how Jesus calls us to repent, to turn our lives around, that we might live for him rather than live for ourselves. And today we're thinking about this call that Jesus had, because Jesus calls people to follow him. He calls disciples to follow him. Jesus doesn't just want people who are spectators. He doesn't just want a big crowd to follow him around. He doesn't just want a church full of bums on seats on a Sunday morning. What Jesus wants are disciples, and disciples are apprentices. Some of you might have been an apprentice, and you'll know then what apprenticeship is really about. It's about learning a trade, isn't it? It's about learning to do what your teacher or your master does. And so that gives us an idea, doesn't it, as to what Jesus wants of us as his followers, as his disciples. You know, it's not just about coming and sitting in church on a Sunday morning. It's about learning from Jesus in our daily lives, that we can do the things that he did in our lives today. And that's really challenging. And it would have been challenging for those first disciples that Jesus called. And the reason that I'm sitting here in my kitchen is because of this picture here that Rosie made quite a long time ago, my daughter. It's a boat with a net full of fish. Because these first disciples, many of them were fishermen. And when Jesus called them, he was asking them to lay down their fishing. Although later on they would return to fishing, he was asking them to leave their fishing nets and to come on a new adventure, a new journey with him. He was calling them to have a love for him, a commitment to him that is greater than their love of their career, their commitment to their career and their sustainable, secure income. He was also calling them to leave their families. This wall in our kitchen is just full of things that remind me of how much I love my family, how much I love Rosie and Judah and Jenny, how much I love my parents, particularly my children. When I look at these pictures, it just kindles something in my heart. But Jesus says if we want to follow him, actually we need to love him even more than we love our families and our own children. You know, in one place, Jesus talks about, if someone does not hate their families, then they're not worthy of following him. And that's a passage that many of us struggle with. But what it's really about is, in Jesus' day, it was a bit of a rhetorical device. It was to say, well, your love for me should be so much greater than your love for your family, which is good, that almost by comparison, it's as if you hated them. It's not that Jesus does want us to hate them, but he's saying our love for him should be even greater. Our commitment to him should be above and beyond everything else. And that's hard, isn't it? Some of us do love our careers a lot. We do love our families a lot. We might love our holidays or our comfort or our car or our freedom or whatever it is. There are lots of things that we can love. But if we want to be disciples of Jesus Christ, then he has to be our number one love. And like those first disciples, we should be prepared to drop our nets and to follow him wherever he might lead.